This episode is rated M for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
From the gridiron to the ball diamonds, from the hardwood to the ice rinks, from the fairways to the octagon and everywhere in between. If it makes headlines, it's fair game on the Sports Reel podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network. And we welcome you to the Sports Reel podcast live on the PFC Entertainment Network, along with Tim Sheridan and Eric Mendal. I'm Jason Clouse. We certainly appreciate you tuning in here tonight. It is Tuesday night, and you know what that means. That means you get the pleasure and the privilege of spending the next hour or so with the three of us as we break down the current headlines, news, rumors, innuendo, everything around the world of sports. Gentlemen, as always, a highlight of my week. Good to see you both. How's things in your neck of the woods?
Not too bad, Jason. You know, had a pretty good weekend and last couple days of work and all that last week. Can't complain at all. What about you, Tim?
There's nothing to complain about. We get to get back together here on a Tuesday night on my favorite thing to do every week, and that's do this podcast right here. Other than that, life is good. Life is busy. I just felt like I just had to rush all the way from fucking Davison home because Chase had golf lessons, and they ran a little bit late, and I'm like, I need to get home and I need to eat something before we go live because I'm about to drink a lot of fucking beer and that shit will catch up to me quickly. But other than that, good. Did Lapeer Days over the weekend. That was fun, I guess. It's a weird bunch of fucking people down there. Let me tell you.
All the crackheads will appear. Come on, that's why.
Crackheads, meth heads.
Yeah,
you get the thing. You just walk around and start counting meth heads. I think we got up to 12. But
15 was the number I heard because your wife, Amy, we recorded the Clouse to the Heart podcast. You'll hear that on Thursday. She made mention of that. And so when you said it, I couldn't help but start chuckling. Because, count the meth heads. So.
Yeah,
gives you something to do. But it's the Lapeer Day seems to be getting smaller every year. Like, it didn't seem as much action. We went down there Friday night, which seemed to be busier, and then went down there Saturday night, which is usually the busiest night because that's when they had the big band coming, which was Hinder this year, which what the fuck ever. There wasn't that many people down there. Like, it was kind of a joke. We stayed down there for a couple hours and we stopped at Wood Chips, grabbed a bite to eat, and then just ended up coming home because it was just, we had no interest in seeing Hinder. So it was just come home and do nothing. Other than that, good week, good thing, nothing else new, really. What about you, Jason?
It's been a busy few days here. I don't mind telling you. I told you guys before we came on the air, I literally just got done with a printing project that I was tasked with. Those who are out of the loop, I got real heavy into screen printing a while ago. Then I kind of got out of it. I didn't really have a space to do the screen printing. So now that I have, a new place, my own place, I took on a job, I took on a project, and it was a little bit of a challenge. And like literally 10 minutes ago, I got done with the last shirt, and it was. Other than that, it's been a real good week. It's been busy. It's gone by fast. I didn't make it to Lapeer Days, and to be perfectly honest with you, Tim, I don't remember the last time I made it down to Lapeer Days, and that's after being in Lapeer for the last 3 years or whatever. I don't remember the last time I actually made it down there, but now my focus has shifted because next weekend is the big MWO reunion picnic. So now that I got my printing job done, we're doing this here. Now, as far as preparation goes, I'm putting all my ducks in a row for that. So I'm really looking forward to that next weekend. You guys are going to make it, right?
What's that?
You guys are going to make it, right?
Yeah. I think Amy's probably going to beat me down there because I got to work. So I got to try to sneak out of work a little bit early and scoop my way down there.
Gotcha. I understand that. But other than that, man, I woke up on the right side of the ground today. So everything else is cream cheese as far as I'm concerned.
That's plus.
First time I've heard that saying before, but yeah, my age is definitely showing.
We did post the link in the live chat if you are watching us on Facebook. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you want to join the show, you hit that link. It's going to put you in a virtual waiting room. I get the notification, and then I hit the button. Boom, you're live on the air with us. But if you don't want to be on camera, you can still correspond with us through the live chat on Facebook and YouTube. We are also live streaming on YouTube and, of course, here on Riverside.fm. With that being said, as Eric alluded to right at the top of the program, we have a lot to dive into this week. Gentlemen, where do you want to start?
Well, probably should start with Tigers, probably, because that's going to be the most recent one and all that. Probably the easiest one because the season's still going on, but it's getting towards the end, and seems like they're finally starting to play good again. You know, they won the series against the Twins, and they beat the Astros last night 10-0, and hopefully they find their groove again right about now, because this is the time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. We made mention of this. We were looking at their schedule last week. It was going to be an opportune time to put some distance within the AL Central. Yes, they have. They won the series against the White Sox, followed by winning the series against the Minnesota Twins. That was the series I was worried about. Now, with the Houston Astros, a big 10-0 win earlier, or yesterday, I guess it was. They are in a rain delay right now in Detroit. So we'll have to wait and see if they're going to reschedule that or if they're going to be able to get that game in. But we made mention last week, you know, they really got to get some consistency going here. And maybe they heard us. Maybe old AJ down there is like, oh, these guys up in the Lapeer area are talking shit and we need to start doing something. But
I hope so.
Be that as it may, you know, it's time. Now is the time. We're getting to the end of August now. There's not a lot of wiggle room to be fucking around.
No, and they're second team in the league with the most wins, right behind the Bruins. They've been making jumps, and they've been getting back to where they've been, and I'm okay with being second right now in that. You know, the Bruins, they had a 14-game win streak, so that's hard to beat.
Yeah,
that's hard to do in the MLB. You're talking about Major League Baseball. They're that 1% that's there. Like, that's hard to win 14 games in a row.
Well, the biggest thing right now is with these wins. I mean, they've won 5 of their last 7. They've pushed to, I believe it's a 9-game lead over the Indians in Central. That's huge because I know we have to play them in 2 series coming up. We have 6 more games against the Indians for the rest of the year. So the farther you can span that out or bridge that gap, you know what I mean, or create a bigger gap against them, the better off you are. Because that's always a tough series for us going against them. Like, they always play us hard. I mean, now if you split that, they still stay far enough back. So you want a big enough a lead into the Central there. And right now they're doing it and they're back on track. Bats are getting hot again. We still have, I believe, some pitching issues, in my opinion. There's issues in that rotation that obviously we didn't address. At the trade deadline, I thought maybe we did, you know, because we picked up quite a few pitchers. But Some of these guys just aren't really working out the way that we want them to at this point in time, but maybe it just takes them a little bit to kind of jive and get in sync with the catchers. You know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into it. So hopefully they just keep pulling us out, because it seems on that pitching rotation, we're good at least, 4 out of the 6. Are they on a 6-person?
Oh, God.
What was that?
I know that voice.
Where was that?
I don't know. That sounded fucking weird.
That was weird.
It sounded like Jim.
Sounded like my old boss.
Oh, did it sound like Mark?
Well, he said, "Good evening, gentlemen," and he's popped in here before.
No, that's a different Mark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was fucking weird. Like, we got, you were talking about with the Creepy Soup podcast, they have a paranormal thing coming up.
Dude,
I think we have paranormal ghosts here on the show today.
No, it's aliens.
It could be aliens too. But yeah, anyways, are they still on a 6-man rotation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah, I'm thinking 4 out of the 6 are doing pretty fucking good right now. Maybe even 5 out of the 6. But they seem to still have that weak spot there. Bullpen seems to be doing really well. Can't fault them there, and the bats are getting hot, and we just need them to stay there. And you don't need to get too hot yet. Let's keep it. Let's just keep riding it, and let's get real hot. Heading into the postseason, because that's when you need to be real hot. We don't need them to get to the postseason and have a fall off like they did after the All-Star break.
Well, I was going to bring that up. That was my worry, that they're going to get a first-round bye, which they probably will. And they're going to get that couple day break, and then they're going to go against whoever they're going to play, and they're going to be cold again.
Right.
It's almost better that you're not the number 1 seed. You're farther back, so you keep playing, so you don't lose that rhythm, that momentum.
Yeah, and that seems to be a common thing with Detroit teams, especially when you look at the history of the Tigers specifically.
Yep.
You got to maintain that momentum. You give them any kind of downtime, and it takes them a game or two to get back into rhythm. The problem is, in a best-of-5 series, you don't have time for that. You got to maintain that. Now, Tim, you mentioned the Cleveland Guardians, and we want to, we need to maintain our distance with them. I'm going to tell you the other team that I'm concerned about, and that's the Toronto Blue Jays, because the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League are just a half a game back of Detroit for that top spot in the American League, and Toronto always shows up against the Tigers, and they are another team. When they get hot, man, like, they're low-key hot. Not a lot of people pay attention to them until they are in your face. Mm-hmm. And historically speaking, when they are in your face, it's too late. They're catching lightning in a bottle, and they are very hard to beat. So I'm keeping tabs on the Blue Jays almost more than I am with the Indians or the Guardians. I do this every fucking week.
It was right the first time
with Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do worry about the Blue Jays for sure.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, Drew brought that up too. He said Toronto needs to lose. Drew in the chat there. 100%. At the end of the day, they don't have a pope, so they hold no hope.
So I'm getting sick of hearing about this damn Pope shit. He's a Chicago Bears fan. I don't want to hear it anymore.
He's still, any American team is always going to beat a Canadian team. We saw it in the Stanley Cup. Even though Jason was over here rooting for the Canadians, said it ain't going to happen.
I want the Oilers to win it too.
Yeah, well, they don't have a Pope.
Thank you. Is it because it was an original 6 team, because they haven't won in forever? Was it? I mean, what was? I mean, I know we're going off on a sidebar here. But what was your logic with rooting for the Oilers there?
It's an original 6 team, and I want McDavis to get one. He's been there 2 years in a row. He's a hell of a player. Hell of a player. He deserves a ring, and I think they'll make it again this year. There's not been a lot of moves in the NHL right now and all that, and I think they can make it there again. But the original 6, yeah. Oh, no, are they original 6? No, they're not an original 6.
No, I guess they're not, are they?
Nope.
But they were. but they're one of the more established.
Well, yeah, because you had some great names go there. They've won some Stanley Cups. Yeah. And since we're on hockey right now, we'll get this out of the way. Although Tim said he's seen it. They're retired number 91.
Yes, sir. I just saw that afternoon.
About time, it's only 2025, and he's been that was back in the 90s, 80s, and 90s when he was with us.
Yes, sir.
Wish he would have never left, because who knows how many cups we would have had then.
Right.
But he wanted to be the big cheese here when it was Eiserman's team, and he didn't like that. That's what always happens. You always get one guy that wants to be the big, the main dog here, when you can just realize you're around a great team and you could win Stanley Cup after Stanley Cup and have your name on there, maybe 5 times.
5-6 times easy.
Yeah, back then when it was like that, no one was beating the Red Wings in the 90s at all.
No. All right, back on track here with the Detroit Tigers. Right now, as things stand, the Milwaukee Brewers are still maintaining their spot as the number 1 team in all of baseball. You look at the upcoming schedule for our Detroit Tigers. They're in a rain delay in the second of a 3-game series with Houston. Then they have a day off, and then they will be playing the Kansas City Royals this coming weekend. That's going to be a big series because we have mentioned the Royals have always been the role of spoiler in some cases. And then after that, they will be playing the Athletics. So, and then another series with the Royals. So back-to-back weekends on the horizon. They will be here to play the Royals, and then next weekend they will be in Kansas City. So the Tigers have their work cut out for them because Oakland at the A's, they're not a team to sleep on either.
Never have done.
No. I don't know why it is that everybody picks Detroit to show up against, but that seems to be the case. It happened with the White Sox earlier in the season, and now, Oakland, or God damn it, the Athletics, they're still trying to find an identity, but they're still putting out a good product on the field. They're not to be taken lightly at this point. I think the only team that you can really take lightly is, and I hate to say it, but I have to look at the facts, is Colorado. It is what it is at this point.
They're beating the dog shit out of them.
Yeah, badly too.
It's an organization that needs to pull their head out of their ass and get going.
Complete overhaul is what they need in Denver. Complete overhaul. It breaks my heart because Charlie Blackmon is my favorite player in baseball. He is a class act. I had the opportunity, to see him a couple of times. I have followed him. He has been the heart and soul of this team post Todd Helton. And I just want so bad for him to be on a decent team. And I hate to say it, he's going to have to look elsewhere because it's not going to happen in Colorado at this point unless something major happens.
That's what sucks too, because Denver's a great sports town. Denver's a great sports city.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So, yeah, the Tigers are still hanging on, man. They're still in it. We got to just get some of that consistency going and keep that momentum rolling. I don't expect them to win every single game.
No,
but
you can't.
At least make a fucking effort.
Yeah, just play above 500 ball for the here on out to the postseason, and you're sitting good. Like, if you can split these series with Kansas City coming up, you're doing good. You know what I mean? Just play above 500. That's all you can ask for. You don't need to kill yourselves to get. You don't need the best record in baseball. I mean, they have the best record in the American League right now. You don't need to have the best record in baseball. You don't need to chase that. You just need to play above 500. Save your energy. Get there. But, that's when you need to really put in forth the effort is once the postseason starts. So it's getting close. I mean, it's August 19th already. Like, where the fuck did the summer go? Next month, September. The season's coming. I mean, it's almost done.
Where'd the year go?
I don't know where
did the year go.
I mean, I know where it went.
We spend it at work. That's the problem.
At work. Actually, and speaking of a year, we have, we've been almost doing this a year, Jason.
Sure have.
We're only a couple weeks away from a year.
We're gonna have to do something cool for that. I'll look back and see what the date was of the first show, but we'll have to do something to commemorate our first year, and what a year it's been.
Yeah.
I mean, the growth of this show, the reach that you guys are doing, you guys are putting in a lot of work to get this out there. Last week, over 2,000 views on the Facebook feed, and that's incredible. Just an incredible amount of growth, and we're not done yet by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
we're even close.
We're just starting. So if you're listening to this, share this. Hit the like button on our
follow the page.
Follow the Sports Reel page on there. You keep updated on everything. Me and Eric and even Jason pops on there every once in a while and put stuff, but we are constantly updating stuff with sports news. Just like the page. Keep on watching our videos. Help us grow.
Absolutely. So, all right. We've got the Detroit Tigers part taken care of, unless there's something else you guys would like to dive into as far as MLB is concerned.
Yeah, I think we're good there.
Yeah,
so
we're good on MLB. There's nothing too crazy going on. Just the season chugging along, and hopefully the Tigers just keep playing consistent ball, and we see them in the postseason, and then hopefully they can make a run this year, because I think this is the first year I can remember they've been whooping the West Coast team's ass lately. And usually that don't happen. Usually that's our biggest downfall. That's why we make it to the World Series in 06 and 12, and then we get swept. We can play all the East Coast teams, but the West Coast team always have our number for some reason.
Completely shit the bed. I'm still so salty about the 2012 World Series, man.
That was against the Giants, and then what? The 06 was against, I think, the Giants too, wasn't it?
No, St. Louis.
St. Louis, okay. Yep, you're right. It was the Cardinals. But enough of the MLB. I don't know. Me and Tim talked a little bit about it. I don't know if you've seen it, Jason, but Michigan finally got their sentencing of what happened, but I feel like they got off lately.
Okay. I'm glad you said that, because I did pull up prior to coming on air, and I hope my friend Lori is still watching, because she seems to be a big Michigan fan, I feel like. And I am not, and I just want to say this right out of the gate. I am not one of those fans, because I am a Michigan State guy. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm proud about that.
But I am not one of those people.
That was I couldn't ask for that either. That was perfect timing.
Are you shitting me right now?
Hey, I hope they do good. I hope they beat everyone. But when it's Michigan State week, fuck State. That's all I'm saying.
I understand. I completely understand. I am not one of those guys that is going to shit talk the University of Michigan. I don't generally root for them unless it's Ohio State. Obviously, anybody that plays Ohio State, I'm rooting for the other team. I don't care who it is.
Which, real quick.
Yeah.
2,073 days since Ohio State has not beat Michigan. Sorry.
Okay.
Had to just put that
All right, go ahead. Continue, Jason.
But I pay attention to what's going on, and I was real curious to see what the NCAA was going to do with the Michigan program in lieu of this sign stealing controversy that has kind of hung over the program for the last few years, right?
It's bullshit. It's fucking a part of the game. Sorry, Jason. It just gets me riled up. It's a part of the game. Everyone does it to get a fucking edge on it. But continue, Jason. I'm sorry for cutting you off. It's stupid in my eyes.
I understand, but I don't. And I'll tell you this, Eric, as a sidebar, I don't know if there would have been this much emphasis. And I know we're going to be comparing apples and oranges here, but I don't know if there would have been so much emphasis on the Michigan sign stealing thing if the Houston Astros didn't get caught up in their bullshit in 2017 that actually took them to the World Series. A lot of people don't even acknowledge that season, that World Series win for the Astros, because they got caught in a very similar situation. But there was so much attention on that, and then everybody had an opinion on it. But you are right. Like, Michigan is not, they were not the first, and they sure as hell won't be the last program to be doing things like this. For whatever reason, they just got caught.
Well, now, maybe because you had, I can't remember the guy's name. Stallions, Connor Stallion.
Connor Stallions,
maybe because you had him at Central Michigan's game, looking at state signs. Like, okay, maybe a little bit too much going to different programs and all that. I heard they're going to come after CMU for that because they let them on the field and everything. So CMU is going to get a punishment too, but it's a part of the game. Everyone's trying to do it. Everyone's trying to get an edge in sports and all that without going too far. But like you said, I haven't heard anything about the 2017 Astros since then, but for some reason, because it's Michigan and it's the team and it's this giant, one of the most winningest college football team in history. It's more focused on that. Maybe a little bit more because they sent a guy to different schools and all that, and they won the national championship, went 15-0, maybe a little bit more, but yeah, it will fade away. It always will, but that will always get brought up, and I think it's stupid. The dude, if you watch the documentary on that dude put in the time, watched the film, learned every little hand signal. He literally did what Harbaugh wanted him to do.
Right.
A little extra, but he just did what he was asked to do because he was in the Army. So he learned that. He learned all that skills from the Army. And then he took it there, and then you're going to, oh, yeah, you guys are cheating. No, you just have a guy that has learned all that stuff before and now is just on the team and helping out, and you're going to be upset because they went 15-0 and won the national championship, and now you're just all butthurt about it.
That's why.
Because if they didn't win, I bet you it would have just faded away and we wouldn't be hearing about it.
I was going to say the exact same thing. If Michigan wasn't as successful as they are, nobody would have cared. They would have got. I mean, they would have. It wouldn't have gotten the kind of publicity that it did. But because it's the University of Michigan, because they are exactly as you said, one of the most successful and prolific programs in the country, that's why they got targeted. And as a state fan, it would be too easy for me to sit here and cut all kinds of jokes and promos and shit like that. But at the end of the day, I have to look at the reality of it. If Michigan wasn't as good as they are, and I can say that, we would not be talking about this right now. We would be going on to a different part of our conversation here this week. But let's look at what did come down the wire in terms of their punishment from the NCAA.
Tell me if I'm wrong. I believe it was just there's no postseason ban.
Correct.
The Natty didn't get taken away from them.
Correct.
And I think they only got fined like $20 million or something.
It's a little bit deeper than that.
I know there's more, but that was the main of it.
We'll let Jason list it.
Yeah, I know. I'm like that was the main thing. Like they didn't get no postseason ban. I'm like, because that's what everyone thought was going to happen. And they,
there's more to it. I can't remember. Jason, what was everything that?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
What they have here, the NCAA announced that U of M will receive a $50,000 fine and have to pay a fine equivalent to 10% of the budget for the football program. They will also pay a fine associated with the loss of postseason revenue from the 25 and 26 seasons. That could go up to around the $20 million mark. The last financial penalty is a fine equivalent to 10% of the scholarships Michigan awarded for the 2025 season. There is no postseason ban. The coach is yes, sir. He is going to be he already served a 2-game suspension in 25 and will also be suspended for a 3rd game in the 26 season. So by and large, what this could have been, when you look at it, the way they have this broke down, it really is a slap on the wrist, because it could have been a whole hell of a lot more just for the NCAA to save face. But you're talking about an organization, an entity that isn't really in the highest of regards. You know, the NCAA gets a lot of flack for their practices and how they conduct business. This could have been a lot worse for the Michigan program. And the other question is, you know, what's going to happen with Jim Harbaugh? Is he going to see any punishment from this? How could he? Because he now had.
He did. He can't coach in the NCAA for 10 years.
Yeah, he got a 10-year show cause, which is just also a slap on the wrist. And that's partly the whole thing here. I mean, what else are they going to do to him? He left.
Yeah, he left. He left because he knew something stupid was going to happen, and it did. But he's not. He's with the LA Chargers. He's in the state of California. Never been there, but seems like it's pretty nice all year round. So he doesn't have too bad of a place to be, and he's got a pretty good football team he inherited there.
Yeah. So here's my thoughts on the whole thing.
They just need to go back to San Diego, because San Diego sounds way better.
It's money. We got into this last.
I know. I want to say.
Okay. So my thoughts on the whole thing. It's a slap on the wrist, and I think the reason why is because Harbaugh left. I mean, well, how are they gonna? I mean, do you think it was? Yeah, good comment by Jim. I think he disappeared again already. He could show up at our chats, but not our show. What the fuck, Jim? What are they going to do to the team? This wasn't an issue with the players. You can't take it out on the players. It was a coaching issue, and even with the coach now, was it Moore?
Coach Sherrone Moore, yes.
Yeah, he got the suspensions. I read into it. Not that he did anything wrong other than delete some text messages that came from, what's the dude's name?
Connor Stallion.
Yeah, that deleted some text messages from him. They had nothing that incriminated him in any of this other than the fact that he deleted some text messages. So that's why he got the 3-game suspension. And he didn't get anything more because obviously he was the offensive coordinator when all this was going on. But it sounds like he wasn't really aware of what was going on, is why he didn't get more. Now, if Harbaugh would have stayed with the team, I'm sure the team would have got a lot more. Oh, yeah. You know, they would have gotten a lot more trouble. But how do you blame all these players and everything else that worked their asses off for something that the coaching staff did? And it makes me wonder now if Michigan also didn't kind of help push Harbaugh at the door to kind of try to save face here. Obviously, he could go back to the NFL anytime. He turned around that 49ers program. They did really well. He took them to the Super Bowl when he was with them. So obviously, at any point, he was going to end up back in the NFL. But how do you take that out on the team itself? Because obviously the school didn't know what the fuck was going on. The players didn't know what was going on. It was all on that coaching level staff with Harbaugh and Stallion and shit like that. And they all left. You know, how do you punish people who aren't there or who had nothing to do with it? So I kind of understand the slap on the wrist.
Well, that's what you said. You know, you're not going to take away from that 2023 team that went 15-0 and then beat Alabama in the Rose Bowl and beat Ohio State. You're not going to take that away from them. They're just kids. And, you know, it's a part of the game. Every major team is doing it, looking for an edge. Everyone is. You're in the top 1% of the NFL, NHL, MLB, NBA, NCAA. You're playing against great players. You're going to find any edge. You're going to find any edge to win.
No, you're absolutely right. And you make a great point in the fact that you cannot punish the students because they weren't a part of this. Now, with the Harbaugh thing, as soon as rumbling started, when the rumors started that he was possibly eyeing a return to the NFL, Well, the speculation was running rampant. He knew what was coming, and he was getting the fuck out of Dodge. What I didn't take into consideration was it something within the organization of the university that was kind of pushing him out to distance him from the program when all of this investigation was going on. I don't know if I had it pegged or not, but like it was something that I had thought a lot about. Like, oh, this motherfucker knows something, and that's why all of a sudden, oh, he's going to sign this deal with the Chargers, and he's leaving the University of Michigan. I never, before all of this shit happened, I really thought that Jim Harbaugh was going to become the next. I don't want to say it in this vein, but the same kind of legendary longevity status as a Bo Schembechler. I really thought, because he just had such a love for the program. That's where he came from, and all this stuff. And then the next thing you know, he's hightailing it to Los Angeles. So I don't.
Jason. Okay, so you say that, and it does sound right, but also in 2012 he left Stanford to go to San Francisco, and there was no sign stealing there. There was no scandal
that we know of, to be honest.
That we know of, yes, but it's also
before
he had Andrew Luck. He has a couple years at Stanford. Stanford's a pretty good football program, and if he wanted to stay in the college realm, that's back when Michigan had like. I can't think of his name. Can't think of the head coach name at that time, but it was right in their drought of not very good head coaches, and they didn't have a lot of good recruiting. If he wanted to stay in Michigan like a Bo Schembechler, I feel like he'd have went then. He wouldn't have left college to go to the NFL. Then, everything kind of fell apart with, this 49ers and all that. And he's like, okay, I got a chance at Michigan where I played. So he wanted to go do that. I feel like you
also got to look at the money that Michigan threw at him to become a coach there.
Yeah, but also everyone knew he was going to go back to the NFL, I feel like. Most people did, because he was already there once and he was successful there. So he proved that he can be successful in college level and the NFL. And the NFL, you get to pick who you want. You don't get to recruit and hope the kid comes to you. You get to pick, like, hey, I want this guy. Let's go get him. It's a different world,
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree.
I think he was really waiting for the right job too, because new coaches usually take over, dumpster fire NFL team. Like Aaron Glenn's taking over the Jets, Ben Johnson's taking over the Bears. Like you take over a shitty NFL team, and he didn't want to do that. He was waiting for the right one where he had Justin Herbert, had a decent defense, and then when he was there, he went there in 24. He drafted like 4 or 5 Michigan players. He knew what he was doing.
One thing you can't say about Jim Harbaugh is that he's an idiot, because he's not. I'm not necessarily personally a fan of his, but I also can't deny what he's done on both levels here, from a professional level or a collegiate one. Like he knows his shit. He knows football, and I do respect that. But I'm not a fan of this guy. Like on a personal level, there's just something about him I just cannot get behind. I can't root for.
That's fair.
When he was his first stint in the NFL, when he was with the 49ers, and he took the 49ers to the Super Bowl against his brother's Baltimore Ravens. Well, I was rooting for John because it wasn't Jim. You know what I mean?
It really wasn't the reason why I was rooting for them. I wanted Ray Lewis to go out with one more ring. That's why I was rooting for Baltimore. And that's what happened. And I like that. And, I see your point, because I'm not like a huge Jim Harbaugh fan either. I'm happy he was a Michigan Wolverine. He brought us a national championship in 20 some odd years. So, yeah, I'm happy he did that.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's made his mark. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He is part of legendary status in Ann Arbor. I cannot deny that.
Yeah, and he's made his money. Now he wants to play where there's palm trees and enjoy the weather all the time
and get the glory of a Super Bowl. But I also have to
I think he will.
he is a good coach, and sometimes some of the best coaches have a little bit of controversy behind them. I mean, look at Bill Belichick and all the shit that went on with the Patriots. There's so many different controversies with the Patriots. I mean, all around Bill Belichick there, and it would be hard pressed to say that Bill Belichick isn't one of the best coaches in the NFL ever. You know what I mean? Well, even with all those controversies, I mean, was it Brady? Was it Belichick? I mean, Brady going on to Tampa and winning a Super Bowl kind of proved that maybe it was a little bit Brady. But, the two of them together were something that carried that. I mean, the Patriots were undeniably one of the greatest franchises in the NFL for a very long time.
They were a dynasty.
Yeah.
One of the dynasties.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. First dynasty that the NFL had in quite some time. You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers under Bradshaw and Dallas Cowboys. You can make an argument for
Johnson and all that. Yep.
Yeah.
No, you're not. Yeah, they're definitely up there as one of the greatest dynasties there for sure.
But now we've moved on to the Chiefs era.
Their era's done.
No, it's not done yet, buddy.
It's
not done yet. They're going back to a Super Bowl this year.
We'll see about that.
Kelsey's going to make sure they get to a Super Bowl one more time because Taylor Swift's going to play the Super Bowl halftime performance this year. Those two just broke the internet this past week.
Yeah, we've seen that with their podcast. Yeah, we've seen that. She was on New Heights and all that.
Jason's trying to say something.
Is that confirmed?
No, not yet. But there's a lot of rumors with a lot of the Easter eggs she was putting out.
Tim's just running his fucking mouth.
I'm a Swiftie all the way. So.
Yeah, because she's a Travis Kelce. That's why.
Oh, I'm a Swiftie.
Shut the fuck up. But still on Michigan football. We ain't moving on yet. I seen that. Well, I seen I think yesterday they got the number one running recruit to commit of 2026.
Yeah, but does that really mean anything anymore? Because these motherfuckers switch colleges like they switch their underwear anymore. So it doesn't even fucking matter.
There's so much talent out there. You want to go where you can play and get noticed so you can make it to the NFL.
You want to go where you can get the most money now. With these NIL deals, it's all about money. Who's willing to pay you the most money? Michigan's got a lot of money that backs it with a lot of boosters. So
they literally gave $10 million to Bryce Underwood. They don't have that much money. There's a cap on it. The NCAA made the rule that there's a cap on the NILs.
Yeah, there's a cap per player.
No, there's an amount per
team.
School. Yeah, for the whole school. Yeah, there's only so much they can give out. They're not just fucking throwing money around like the NFL or NBA.
Is this going to ruin college football?
Oh yeah, it already has.
It is. Absolutely, it is. I do agree with this shit. There's not going to be another Alabama. There's not going to be another dynasty that's there every single year. Players that are great every single year going there. That's not going to be that anymore because you can. Michigan State will give me $5 million a year. Whoops, and instead of Alabama, they'll give me $1 million. I'm going to go to play at Michigan State. It's gonna broaden the range, so it's not going to be as one-sided anymore. It's at the first time I had heard that college players were going to start being paid, I'm like, this is a huge mistake, man. Because to me, one of the charms of why I enjoy watching college football over the NFL is because I felt like the players on the field actually were there to play the game. Whereas with the NFL, they're there to collect the money. Okay, now if you can get paid to play football, that's fantastic. More power to you. But on a college level, I just felt like there was more passion on that field just for the fundamental love of the game. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that NFL players don't love the game of football. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is that their level of enthusiasm is inspired by more money than the opportunity to play the fucking game. That's where I'm at with that. Perhaps, but I'm not a football player either. So what do I know?
I don't know, man, because those universities are making a lot of money off those players. A lot of money, and there's no reason that college players should be struggling to, okay, what am I eating tomorrow? What am I going to be able to get to? That's my point. Yeah, maybe not $10 million. Maybe not $10 million a year to play there or throughout the 4 years you're playing there, but give them a bone or something so they at least are not like can take care of their grandmama, take care of their mom, help out the family a little bit. It's like, hey, I finally made it to somewhere I can bring in some money and help out and still do what I love. But we're not at the end of the road yet. We're not at the NFL where I'm signing that contract where it says $40 million guaranteed or whatever.
Yeah, you need to buy him a big pack of ramen noodles.
Exactly.
I feel like, look, you make a great point, and I agree with you. But there's other ways to do this. If you want to kick some of that back to the player, sell their jerseys and give them a percentage of each jersey that is sold with their name and number on it.
Well, that's just like when Johnny Manziel was playing. How many number 2 jerseys went off the rack at Texas A&M? How many, man? Like, there were so many because that kid was electrifying. Yeah, now he's saying all the stories. Did he do it right? No, but he did it on his own terms, and he played great football.
Oh, you're absolutely right. You're right.
But we covered college. I think we're getting a little off track because, we're talking about that. We talked about the Michigan thing.
This is a good conversation. I'm actually liking it.
We're not talking about football. We're going to talk about
We're going to get into it in a minute. We still got well more than a half an hour left.
So. Okay, just making sure. I know.
No, Jason sounded like he almost had more point to add on to that one.
Add some points, Jason.
That was really my own thing. But, that's what I get shit for is because I don't look at games or the game of football the way most other people do, especially on a college level. I'm looking at this from a business standpoint. I'm looking at this for the best interest of the players. I look at, and I guess this is how the entire sports world has evolved from the way things were when I was a kid watching it to where I am now as a 49-year-old man. I totally agree with you. These colleges are making bank with ticket prices and of this nature, and they should be kicking some of that back to the athletes that these people are paying to go into these 100,000 seat stadiums to watch. Yes, I just don't feel like that should be the driving force, or at least it wasn't back in the day, of what we saw on the field. I just felt like it was a more entertaining, it was a more passionate game of football on Saturday versus what we watched on Sunday and Monday. Because, okay, they have the opportunity to play for the National Football League. That is a business. That is their job. But you can also see like their motivation has changed. It's not necessarily anymore across the board, to be the best football player. It is to collect the biggest check. And when you start allowing that to be your main motivator as to why you step out onto the gridiron every week, I don't know, man. It takes something away from it for me. I hate the NFL for a lot of reasons. I like it for a lot of reasons too, but the motivation is way different. And now that college players are getting $10 million, the shit's insane to me. It's just insane to me.
Yeah, but also like a lot, listening to a lot of podcasts and all that, and listening to some ex-players are like, yeah, get that money while you can, because like this, I don't know why it's burnt in my mind. I remember where I was when it happened and who it happened to is Ryan Shazier. He's playing the Cincinnati Bengals, and he had that neck injury, and his career was done. And how many college athletes do we not hear about getting hurt playing college football that are just done? You have Michigan's 5-star offensive lineman that just had a knee surgery or knee injury. He's done for the season already. A freshman. So now is his football career at jeopardy all, the rest of his life because he had one knee injury already and he just got out of high school. I see your point on it. It's a more passionate game, but it's like you step out on that field and you're flying around. They say like playing the NFL is like getting in a car accident.
Yeah.
You can one false move, one false hit, your career's done.
Well, here's my point on all of it. Paying the players right now, and you bring up a good point. It seems like the passion is gone. The passion used to be we need to play well enough to where we can get drafted to the NFL to make the money. That was the big thing. And now a lot of these players, and the NFL probably has to be pissed off about this, because a lot of these players who are star players can make more money in college than they can on a rookie contract in the NFL.
They can.
And it's guaranteed money playing in college. So a lot of these guys are hanging out in college longer, but they also run the risk of getting injured in college and not being able to go to the NFL to extend that career. And you're right. Some of these players in the NFLs, they just play for money. I mean, biggest example that I can give is Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett took all the money in Cleveland. There's no fucking hope that Cleveland is going to win a Super Bowl.
I'm thinking about, yeah.
Like there's no hope. It's for the money. It's not for the glory. Some of these players still play for glory, and you can see those guys who go to these teams that are chasing Super Bowls. I mean, because I'm a Kansas City fan, I see this every year where they can pull some of these players in there for a lot less money for the hope to play for a ring. These are the guys who are still playing for the glory of winning a Super Bowl. Some of these other guys don't really give a fuck because they know their career can be over tomorrow, and they just want that guaranteed money. And the guaranteed money thing has also kind of killed the NFL because everybody's after that guaranteed money. That's their biggest thing. You hear about these fucking contracts that come out, $240 million. It's not really $240 million. You got to look at the guaranteed number because that's what they're really getting paid.
The biggest contract I heard was Patrick Mahomes.
His was like $500 million or something, but that was 10 years.
Yeah,
so
no, I'm just saying
that's not even the biggest anymore. Joe Burrow's making more and shit like that. It's just less years.
Yeah, no, I know.
You got to span that out. But yeah, he reset the market there, and I can't remember the exact guaranteed money.
I think it was like 241.
Yeah, so he's 240. That's his contract's 241.
I think. No,
with whatever it is, with bonuses and everything else, he could earn up to 500. Does that mean they're going to earn 500? No, that just means that, if he has this many yards or, they win this many games, that's how those add up. But you got to look at the guaranteed number. Guaranteed contracts are kind of killing the NFL too, because you got these guys going to the teams that are just guaranteeing them the most money to play there, even though, I mean, there's no chance. Myles Garrett, no chance. There's a lot of examples of that, and that's why the Lions have been doing a little bit better with signing some of these free agents over the years now lately, because people know that I have an opportunity to chase a ring here in Detroit. College, you don't have to worry about any of that. You just go to the school that pays you the most, and that's why I said some of these players are changing teams like they change their underwear, because they're going to where they can get the most money, and that's whoever has the best donors. So some of these schools who have a lot more money, they're going to get the best players. So those are the teams that you're going to have to really watch, and those are the teams that are going to get the natties every year because they have the most money to spend.
I think that's debatable because, a lot of like Joe Burrow was at Ohio State. He wasn't playing at all. He was never a starter or nothing. And then he's like, let me go to LSU to show them who I really am, and won a national championship.
Oh yeah,
they switched schools.
That was before NIL deals. So.
Yeah, but they switched schools because they want to play. They want to show that they're good enough to play. Like, I don't know if it's still. It probably, the money's definitely gonna persuade you a little bit more when I can sign a contract. I can make 1.2 mil a year to play here. Okay, or I can go here and start, and I can make a little bit less. So yeah, it might interfere with what you want to do or what you think you should do, but. A lot of people transfer now just because they want to play, and there's so much talent nowadays.
Well, because you start looking at the long term, and some of these guys aren't getting the $10 million checks. They're getting, the $1 million check, which you're going to earn more in the NFL. So you're still going to have those players that are chasing the NFL dream.
And I think Michigan didn't want to lose Bryce Underwood because he grew up in Michigan. He grew up right down the road from Ann Arbor. He wanted to play at Michigan, so he didn't want to really lose an in-state, great athlete, great quarterback to a different school. So yeah, they might have threw a little bit more money at him just to keep him there.
Yeah, and he's got to be a better quarterback than JJ McCarthy.
We're gonna find out. I didn't
even think he was that good when he played for the team. But anyways, let's. That was actually a really good college segment. I dug that a lot.
Because
we obviously you've been posting a lot of college shit online.
Right. I'm just
and I like that because we've never really dove deep into college yet, and I think it's going to be a good aspect of the show to add.
They're naming all their starters and all that. Like Ohio State named that a freshman's going to start for them. I'm like,
Yeah,
Okay, and then you got Notre Dame, and then you got Michigan being a true freshman starting a quarterback. We're definitely getting to the college game for sure, because I'm going to keep a heavy eye on that.
Well, let's transition from the college game over to the NFL, because there's a few key points that we need to talk about this week on the NFL. And the first thing I want to bring up,
I hope it's what I'm thinking.
Well, I don't know if it's what you're thinking, but I want to cover the Lions game this past week.
It's definitely not what I was thinking, but okay.
You're probably thinking Trey Hendrickson.
That's exactly what I was
in a minute, because we can transition that into the Lions, which I don't think is a possibility, but we'll get there in a minute. The Lions game this past week, first thing I want to bring up, Hendon Hooker. This motherfucker is about to get cut. Did we waste a draft pick on him?
I don't know about that. He was a steady backup for a couple of years. Now he's just kind of
tanked. He didn't back up shit. We had Teddy Bridgewater.
Well, yeah, because we wanted someone that we knew we were going to rely on.
Yeah, we haven't been able to depend on him. Did we waste a third rounder on Hendon Hooker? That's my question.
I guess because he hasn't really showed his worth, so I guess I would have to say yes.
Something just came across here, and I want to make sure it's not all of a sudden this thing popped up, said breaking news. But it's...
Oh, I thought you were going to say breaking news, the Pope is now Canadian? No, that ain't going to fucking happen.
No. Okay. It's not worth it. It's nothing major. I don't know why they would put a breaking news thing on it.
Well, you have to say it now. Now I'm curious what the hell breaking news could be.
So it got to do with Taylor Swift?
Oh. No, Jesus Christ! Listen, even if that was going to, if that's what it was, I'm not mentioning that. Okay,
smart move. Smart move.
All right, Jason, give me your thoughts on Hendon Hooker.
No, I feel like it could have been a bust. I feel like we probably did waste a draft pick on this, but I don't know, man. See, here's the other thing, Tim. I haven't been able to watch any of the preseason. Like, I haven't seen one down other than highlights and whatever is showing up on my algorithm on TikTok. I haven't been able to watch one game. And I didn't even know the Lions. I thought the Lions were playing later in the day the other day. I was stunned when I went on Facebook and said final score. And I'm like, what the fuck? When did the game start? I thought it was like later in the afternoon, but completely missed that with the game with the Dolphins.
Well, I'm kind of upset with you because we literally talked about it last week.
I know. I felt like for some reason it was later in the day.
Yeah, that's
like
fine.
I'm like, okay, I know the Lions are going to be on, so I'm going to do a bunch of shit earlier in the day so I can carve out some time and find a way to watch this. I go on Facebook, and then that was literally the first thing I saw.
I gotcha.
Scored. I'm like, well, goddamn, like completely shit bet on that one. So that's on me. That's my bad. But I don't know, man. Like, it could be, listening to what you guys are saying, it could be very well a bust in terms of the draft pick.
Yeah, but is he really a bust? There's no really expectations for him. He was a backup quarterback. We already knew we were getting a backup quarterback. So was it a bust?
Yeah, but you can pick up a backup quarterback either undrafted or sign a backup free agent. You don't need to drop a third round pick on him.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Or he's just having a slump year. You never know.
I don't know, man. He's like, they didn't have, the way that I look at it, they didn't have faith in him last year to carry him through the postseason. That's why we re-signed Teddy Bridgewater.
Well, Bridgewater
we had Teddy Bridgewater the year before that too, because we didn't have faith in Hendon Hooker.
Well, you've seen Teddy Bridgewater could carry an NFL team. He carried Minnesota. I wish he would never got hurt. I wish he would have stayed in Minnesota because it was cool watching him ball out in Minnesota.
Yeah. So I feel like, and I think honestly before the season, because this is the first time that we really had a good look at Hendon Hooker, and
I don't know about that. He's played every preseason that he's been with the Lions for the last 3 years. So we've had 3 years to look at him.
He didn't play the first year because he still wasn't even clear because we drafted him injured.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so we had 2 years. Okay.
So yeah, last year we got to see a little bit of him, and he looked a little bit better. But we also did things a little bit differently last year, and we played some of our starters throughout the preseason.
That's true.
We haven't played a single starter yet this year, so people need to stop freaking out about the fucking scores because we've been running fucking second and third team fucking offenses and defenses out there.
That's just like the Bills and Bears game. The Bears blew out the Bills.
The Bears were playing starters.
I know. So it's just like everyone's freaking out. I was like, Josh Allen ain't even out there.
No, the fucking Bills played fucking third team offense and defense against fucking Bears starters, and that makes me wonder. You look back and Ben Johnson goes over there and he starts playing some of his starters in the preseason against some third team fucking defenses, and they're fucking eating them up, and you go, oh, I wonder what the fuck could be happening here. People are freaking out about it. The fucking Bills are way beyond a better team than what the Bears are. Just like, don't freak out about the Lions because we haven't played a single fucking starter yet. And we just keep signing people off the streets. I mean, look how many UFL people that we signed just over the last few weeks just to play in these games. We're trying to get a look at people. Yeah. And we have been getting a look at people. One, that's why we know that Hendon Hooker's been a bust this year, and it's disappointing because his trade values went way down. But Kyle Allen's actually looked like a solid backup.
Oh, yeah, Kyle Allen's got the backup spot for sure. He's got the number 2 spot.
Yeah, Ratledge looks good.
Well, they're saying Tesla's the biggest in
Tesla's first team. He's going to play this year.
Is he going to take Tim Patrick's spot, or is it going to be?
I don't think
there's going to be a revolving door of him and Tim Patrick.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep Tim Patrick. They already signed him for a year. People are saying that Tim Patrick's going to lose his spot. I don't think so.
No,
he's going to lose
him for one more year. He's going to lose some reps.
Yeah, he's going to lose some reps to kind of phase Tesla into this. But Tesla, my God, this guy is fucking. You want to talk about a third round steal right there? The way he's looking right now. I mean, we may have had a bust in the third round with Hendon Hooker, but we definitely may have just stole Tesla in the third round.
Yeah, well, yeah, dude. The dude, yeah, he didn't put up the numbers like he did in college, but he made every opportunity when he was on the field, and that's what Brad Holmes liked about him. And I see why. So whenever he's on the field, he's going to make an opportunity to get the ball and make it count, and that's what we want.
And his blocking. I mean, you watch the way this guy's play. He's
6'4" and almost 200 pounds. Yeah, he's going to block the hell out of any corner because they're smaller than him.
And he doesn't stop. I've watched him run across the field to fucking drop safeties on a run play.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't stop.
You want him just to clobber people.
He's a fucking football player.
Exactly.
And he has earned his right to be
a Detroit Lion.
The Detroit Lion and then the first team offense this year. He will play in that first game this year. This guy is fucking incredible. He's a steal. I can't wait to see him go. And I think he's just another weapon because now, I mean, what did we have at receiver before? Tim Patrick's good. Don't get me wrong.
He was a solid third receiver. Now we have St. Brown, Williams. I'm going to say Tesla over Tim Patrick. Then you got Tim Patrick. Then you got Reynolds.
Yeah.
So that receiver room is going to be just full. They're going to dial something up where have all of them on the field, and they're going to do something crazy.
Yeah. You can run 5 out this year.
Well, they've already said that Montgomery's been throwing passes in practice, so get ready for something for that.
Well, he was a high school quarterback, so it makes sense. So I don't think the trick plays are going to end this year. They're just going to be a little bit different.
No.
And everybody's sweating, how are the Lions going to do with – and I want to bring that – how are the Lions going to do with the new coordinators and shit like that? When you look at that joint practice that they had the other day, and I actually had a buddy who went down to it and watched it against Miami where we ran first-team offenses against, fucking Miami's first team. So the Lions ate them the fuck up.
That was their first time going against someone different than their own players. And, you have the Hutchinson rule where, okay, he blew up the play, but continue it.
Still saying he's going to be Defensive Player of the Year. 100%.
Willing to put money on it?
No, I don't bet.
I wouldn't. Then I would. If you're not willing to put money on it, I wouldn't say it. Then I'm going to say Comeback Player of the Year for sure. I'll throw $100 on Comeback Player of the Year.
This guy's coming out to just prove some shit this year. And you look at his best year in college was the year after an injury.
Yeah.
He came back out with a vengeance, and he said, I'm going to fuck everybody up, and he had his best year in college. Yeah. He's going to do the same thing this year, and he's going to just fucking destroy people.
Now, we're on the lines of football. Do you think Cincinnati's asking too much for what's his name?
I don't think so. And honestly...
You don't think so? A first-round pick and a young defensive player?
I don't think so. It depends. Okay, so you got to look at it this way. If it's going to a team like the Lions, obviously it's going to be a rental player for a year. You're giving up a first round, and this is where you got to look at it like, am I chasing a ring this year? Could this get me the ring this year by adding this player? Obviously, you're not going to have the money to sign him after this year's up.
You don't know that.
They're talking. It's either him or Hutch. Who you signing?
Hutch.
Yeah, exactly. So it would be a rental player for a year. So I've seen, people floating the idea of out there, and I think it's dumb. Jack Campbell in a first round.
No, you don't do that. You keep Jack Campbell. That dude's the heart and soul of that defense.
Yeah,
but
he's
also Henderson or whatever.
Hendrickson.
I can remember his name. Said he's like, I just want to be appreciated and valued at a team. He's like, I'll take less money if I go to Detroit because he wants to win.
Yeah, so less money is a lot more money than what we can afford if we pay Hutch.
Yeah, well, it just depends.
Or
it depends on, do you want the Lions? They could, if they were to go for him, 100%, I think they're going to make Super Bowl then. Because you're going to have two outstanding defensive ends that want to win a ring here in Detroit because it's never happened. But, do you sit down with Hutch the next year? Like, okay, we want to pay you, but we want to bring rings to, not just a ring, we want to bring rings to Detroit. What are you thinking? That's a conversation between Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, and Hutchinson.
So let me ask you this. Would you give up a first round and Tyreek Williams?
If I was Detroit, I would call Cincinnati, but I'll give you 2 first rounders and a third rounder. I would see what they would do. That's what I would say.
I think they want that player, though. That's what they want. Would you give up Tyreek Williams? Now, here's the sketchy part, because Aleem McNeil is still hurt for at least half the season.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And they're similar. You wouldn't give up Tyreek?
No,
Tyreek looks like he's going to be a fucking beast.
Oh, he will, and that's why I would say I'd give up 2 first rounders and a third.
Oh yeah, that's hard though, because you could have other teams that give up those first rounders that are actually because our first rounders are going to be kind of chintzy fucking first rounders.
They're going to be later. They're going to be later in the draft.
High 20s, if not 30s.
Yeah, but 30s. There's only 30, 31, 32. So
yeah, that's I'm anticipating us winning the Super Bowl this year, so it's going to be 32.
I'm hoping for it. I'm not anticipating. I'm hoping. You're a Lions fan. You got to hope. Hope like the Pope.
I'm sick of hoping. I've been hoping my whole fucking life, bro. Jason, give us some insight.
Yeah, he like
your
that.
Thoughts out. You're soaking this all in. Hoping like the Pope. You need to make that shirt.
Like that.
You need to make that fucking shirt.
We do need to make that fucking shirt. That was great. Jason got a good laugh on that one.
He's gonna write it down now.
We need to make that fucking first shirt.
Hoping like the Pope.
Yeah, he's right. That was a great saying.
This is what happens, Eric. During the course of any podcast that I do, somebody will say something. It could be one sentence. Like half of Amy's merchandise is shit that just falls out of her mouth, and she doesn't even understand. It just comes out. I'm like, that's a fucking T-shirt right there.
Yep, that's like hoping like the Pope.
Open like the Pope. Coming soon to pfcstore.printify.me. So
yeah, fucking Tim doesn't shut the hell up about the damn Pope.
Well, we got the Pope.
Yeah. The Americans have the Pope, bro. And you're guaranteed an American NFL team to win the Pope or win the Super Bowl this year.
Well, yeah, no.
Listen,
he had a lot to take in right there. It was me and you went back and forth there for a minute.
Yeah, I want to hear his thoughts on all this.
That which I absolutely love, by the way. I don't mind telling you. But let me say this. This is why I feel like, because we're not the only ones who have conversations like this, and I know damn well that there are people within the Lions organization that dial into this shit. They have people specifically that listen to stuff like this to get a feel for what the fan base wants. Mm-hmm. We are in a unique position right now. Now, 2 years ago, we marched our ass to the NFC Championship game, and we had all this hype, all this hope, all this anticipation. Like, oh my God, the one thing that we have dreamed about as Lions fans for generations is finally coming to fruition.
Yeah, it was the last time you guys had a chance was when Barry Sanders was there.
January '92, bro. I'll never forget it. They dominated the Dallas Cowboys. And then they ran into the buzzsaw that was the Washington Redskins. Okay.
Yeah. The Washington Redskins were a badass team then.
Yeah, absolutely they were. And then you get these glimpses, we've made the wild card. We've made the wild card. We've made the wild card. And we've completely shit the bed.
Well, that's just like they were talking on 97 won the ticket. Sorry for cutting you off about how they're retiring Federoff's number. Like, oh, does Stafford deserve his number retired in Detroit? No. He made 3 playoff appearances and didn't win a single game. He was not the best quarterback in the league when he was with Detroit. Now, Calvin was the best receiver a couple years, broke Jerry Rice's record, and the number 2 Lion in history, because you're not gonna beat Barry Sanders,
right?
But his number deserves to go up in the rafters, 100%. But not Stafford's. He brought hope to the city, but he didn't get us there. Granted, love him to death because he was here for 12 years, and some of the highlights of Calvin, he's made some hell of a throws. But
so with that logic, assuming Jared Goff gets us to another NFC title game, just to get to the title game,
he's more than Stafford.
Does that put him above Stafford?
That's hard to say just because Stafford has all the franchise records, but if he's gotten us farther, I'd have to say yes. I would, because you got us to 2 NFC championship game, if not the Super Bowl, and if you win us a Super Bowl, hands down.
If he wins us a Super Bowl, yes. But you just said something very interesting. Matthew Stafford owns a shit ton of the Lions records. So is that not enough accolades to have his number retired when it's all said and done?
Maybe if he retired here.
Yeah, unfortunately, maybe if he stayed here. Maybe if he stayed, but I don't blame the guy. You were here for 12 years. You got your ass kicked in. You tried turning it around. You went through coaches after coaches. You went through GMs. Now, if we got Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell 3 years, prior before Stafford left, there'd probably been a Super Bowl here by now.
Yeah, but here's the deal: we wouldn't have the team we have now if Stafford didn't leave.
No,
we have the team we have now because he left and we got all those fucking first round picks.
Yes, but also we shouldn't have fired fucking the one coach,
Jim Caldwell.
Yes, we shouldn't have fired him on a 9-7 season. You fucking fire your coach. What are you doing?
You go to the playoffs and you fire your coach.
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing?
He's a good coach.
Jim then Caldwell you brought in fucking Matt Patricia's fucking bitch ass, and he destroyed the whole foundation. And then Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes had to rebuild it.
He was a fucking rocket scientist.
He's a fucking idiot.
He's legit a rocket scientist, but he's a fucking moron.
He tried doing the Patriots way. He tried doing it the Patriots way, and it didn't fucking work. You can't go in somewhere.
We did beat the Patriots the one time, though. That was pretty fun to watch.
Tim? Yeah, it was fun to watch, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
it was fun.
You're not wrong, but it's also...
We shit the bed the rest of the season, but we beat the Patriots.
But you can't come in there demanding respect like Belichick, and you haven't proved anything. You've been a defensive coordinator. Great, you're a defensive-minded guy.
Well, he was a fucking douchebag. He's the whole reason Darius Slay left.
Well, yeah, when your coach rides out on a fucking four-wheeler to the field, then you have Dan Campbell fucking doing up-downs with the teams, you're just a piece of shit.
That's the difference between the coaches. Dan Campbell, these guys will die for Dan Campbell.
Oh yeah,
put Dan Campbell out in the universe, but they will die for Dan Campbell. Like the camaraderie and what he builds around this team, and like this team isn't. Do we have a lot of superstars? Sure, but do any of them look at themselves as superstars? No, they're a team together. Yeah. These guys will all die for each other. They will go onto the field. They're fucking warriors. They will die for each other, and that's the element that Dan Campbell brings to him. It's that team building element. Matt Patricia didn't have that.
No, because he tried demanding respect right off the rip, and Dan Campbell gained your respect. Respect is earned.
That is it right there. He came in and look, and people talked a lot of shit when Campbell came here because he did that press conference. He was talking about biting kneecaps and all this other shit, and people mocked him for that until game day. And you got to see the intensity that this man has, the knowledge that he brought to the table, and the way the players flock to him, because we don't. I mean, yeah, they have cameras and shit that document this stuff, but we don't know what the fuck happens behind closed doors and in the locker room. Whatever he's doing is resonating not just with the team, but with the ownership of the team and the fan base of the team, because the results on the field have been unprecedented in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. Now using words like grit, and it's because of Dan Campbell.
This ain't a grit team no more. They got the power. They got the superstar power. They develop players.
They still got grit though.
They just work hard. It's a blue collar city. They work hard. They want to bring it. Like when Dave Montgomery says, I feel like the city of Detroit deserves a championship. Yeah, because you see all the down years we've had here. You got
all of them.
Yeah, pretty much. You have some glimpses of Barry Sanders and the Calvin Johnson era and Stafford era, but you don't have...
Even in the Calvin Johnson Stafford era, they never won a fucking playoff.
They didn't win a playoff game, no. They fucking went to playoffs 3 years and they lost every year, but they still gave us some great games, and they just couldn't... They had shitty management.
They were missing something.
They had shitty management. As soon as Sheila took over...
Yeah, she's
just putting money... She's like, we're going. Like she wants to put money into the team, and she has.
Yeah, I feel like she was appointed to this team by the Pope himself, and like she's a gift from God, because she's allowed Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell to take full control of this team and build it the way that they want to, and the results speak for itself. And a lot of these other teams out there, speaking Chicago, and the Jets, and the Giants, and Cleveland. You need to take a little bit of, just look at Detroit and go, what did they do? These owners need to get off their heads. Fucking Dallas. Jerry Jones, you want to win again?
Step the fuck out of the way.
Step out of the way. Let your fucking general manager. Well, actually,
he likes to be. He's the general manager.
He's a fucking joke. Jerry Jones is a fucking joke. Stop trying to be the general manager. Put somebody in charge who knows the game of fucking football and who's not just rich and who likes to fucking play on TV shows, even though, his role on that one show, Landman, was actually, pretty decent.
He built a great team in the 90s. It's not the 90s anymore. He's got to step away and let someone else take the reins. You're going senile, Jerry Jones. You need to step aside.
But anyways, boys, we've been talking football for a little bit now, and we're at the 8:02 mark. Jason, you probably got to get off here soon.
Yeah, I do. I do have to work tonight, so we'll start winding this down a little bit.
Yeah, so in that case, we need to head right into... Tim's 13 minutes of golf talk. Brought to you by the Sports Reel Podcast.
Nice talking to you, Eric.
Eric's gone. Apparently he has to spare too. I had to a minute ago too. The beers are catching up. We'll get into this last week, which is the BMW Championship, which if you follow the Sports Reel page, which you should be by now, and if you haven't, give it a like, because I kept a pretty good update on this thing all weekend long, because I was watching, because it was an incredible tournament. Scotty Scheffler won this thing. How many times have I said that this year? Quite a fucking few. This guy's the modern day GOAT. He's chasing Tiger records now. Scotty Scheffler's fucking amazing. McIntyre, who led this thing for 3 days straight, he went into this final round 4 shots up, and it only took 5 holes for Scotty to take the lead here, and he never really gave it back. And if you watch the highlights from that thing, Scotty Scheffler's fucking chip in on 17, fucking phenomenal. I would love to show it on this show, but PGA would nix this whole episode faster than anything, because they're a bunch of fucking dicks who like to nix as soon as we show any highlights. But yeah, McIntyre kind of let this thing go. McNeely in 3rd. Sam Burns was making a run at this thing pretty late there. He ended up falling in 4th. Tommy Fleetwood, he finished 4th too. That kind of seems to be where he likes to hang out, because Tommy can't seem to pull it together and actually win something. He always gives it up at the end, but he made a good little run at this one. Hall in 6th, Victor Hovland with Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler put on a show this weekend. He just missed out on moving into next weekend. He had I think it was hole 15. He had a bad double bogey there, and then he followed it up with a bogey on 16. that kind of put him out of contention because next week the top 30 move into, and he fell in like 32nd or 33rd, but he was in the running there for a little bit. Then we had Alberg in 7th. We had Kim in 10th. We had Cam the Hammer Young in 11th. That boy is moving on next week. So he's doing pretty good. Rory finished out in 12th here. I'm wondering if taking so much time off this year has hurt, his game. He won a lot early on. He was pretty strong, and then he's just kind of hasn't played a lot since then. He's still sitting pretty good. He automatically moves in the next weekend because he has enough FedEx points to move in the next weekend. But we'll see how he does next weekend against the likes of, right now Scheffler's hot. How you going to run with him? Keegan Bradley in 17th, Fitzpatrick 17th, Kitayama 19th. I keep going down the line, but what I want to do is move into the Tour Championship next week because we're talking the top 30 who make this. Now, this is a big tournament. This is a $40 million purse. The number one player gets $10 million. Whoever wins this gets a $10 million check. And whoever's caddy gets that gets a pretty fucking big payday too. So, but you got Batia, Godarup, M, Bridgman, Hall, Taylor, Lowry, Matsuyama, Morikawa. Colin actually squeezed in. Good for him. Holland, Connors, Cantley, Burns, Harmon, Novak, Bradley, Alberg, Cam the Hammer Young, Justin Thomas, English, McIntyre, McNeely, Straka, Henley, Griffin, Fleetwood. JJ Spawn is stuck in there this year. Good for him because, this time last year, he was talking about quitting golf. And this year, he's come out hot. He's won one tournament and won a major. You got Justin Rose, who's in this one also. He won last week. Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy. Scotty and Rory are 2 p.m. tee time. Like they're teeing off together this week on Thursday. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. That's number one, I think. I can't remember if Rory's number 2 or number 3 at this point in time. I'd have to actually look at the points. He might have fallen out of that spot at this point in time because he's taking so much time off. But that's a pretty good. I would imagine he's number 2 because he's teed up with Scotty. But yeah, interesting Tour Championship coming up this weekend. To wrap things up, it's going to be exciting. I can't wait to watch it. Going to be a strong weekend for golf. I'm going to be rooting on Scotty to win this thing because nobody's ever won the FedEx Cup 2 years in a row, or back-to-back, I should say. And Scotty has the first chance, or has a chance to actually do it. And it'll be pretty fucking cool to see if he can make history and do that. And then after that, that's the end of the regular season for the PGA. We got some other bullshit tournaments going on, but we'll be leading up at that point into the Ryder Cup, which I think is happening September, October. I can't remember when the Ryder Cup is. I'll have to look that up exactly here eventually. I did post something on the Facebook page recently where I can update you on the Ryder Cup, on what the standings are, because the teams have been set. Let me find it real quick. I'm going to keep talking so I don't have dead air. So if I just keep on saying shit, people will think that I'm here talking about something intelligent, but I'm really not until I find this fucking post.
I think you passed it.
I didn't pass it yet.
Okay.
It's right here. The Ryder Cup, the U.S. team was Scotty Scheffler, J.J. Spawn, Xander Schauffele, Russell Henley, Bryson DeChambeau, and Harris English. It's going to be a fucking tough matchup for any team that has to go against them. The best next chance would be the European team, which would be leaded out by like Rory and probably Justin Rose and shit like that. I haven't seen their exact team yet, but that'll be the next big event after this one, but Tour Championship this weekend. So tune in this weekend. Check that shit out. That is the end of Tim's 13 minutes of golf talk. Which, by the way, wasn't even 13 fucking minutes.
Thank God.
It was about 7. So I saved you all.
I didn't bother timing it, so I couldn't tell you exactly how long it was, but I appreciate the report. And I'll have you know, Tim, I have been keeping up with your posts on the Sports Reel Facebook page to kind of stay in the loop, and I really appreciate your level of dedication to the sport of golf and to keep people informed. I do appreciate it. I was like, oh God, and the way you write stuff, it had me excited for Scotty Scheffler. I'm like, God damn, this guy's fucking doing it, I guess. So Very well done. Very, very well done.
Well, I appreciate it. I try to keep up on that shit because I'm the only one who does here. Eventually, I'm going to have somebody on here who can talk some fucking golf with me.
I know some people.
So
it's not me, but I know some people.
Because I feel like I'm talking to the air sometimes.
Hey, I love what you do, man, but it's just.
Well, that's like Jim. Every time I'd get into the fucking thing, that's when he'd click off. Like, boom, Jim's gone. It's like, fuck, we can't upload this for 3 days now. Thanks, Jim.
Fucking Jim.
Jim, once again, I know you're not on here currently, but you need to get your ass back on it. He said something about his agents keeping him busy or something, so he hasn't been able to get on lately.
His agent is a bitch. I don't mind telling you.
I said, do we need to pay him more money?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. But here's what I do know. This past weekend, we went ahead and launched the fall lineup on the PFC merchandise. And let me just show real quick kind of a preview as soon as I can find the right button. And here we have a preview of some of the brand new merchandise that is now available at pfcfall2025.printify.me. Here are the varsity jackets that we were talking about. New sweatshirts, new hoodies, and a whole new lineup of football jerseys, long sleeve tees, notebooks, lunch bags, travel cups, and much, much more. Adorning the logos, likenesses of all the great shows and personalities here on the PFC Entertainment Network, including the two gentlemen that I have the absolute privilege of doing this show with. Both of them have their respective football jerseys now available exclusively at pfcfall2025.printify.me, the official fall lineup of all of our great merchandise. So
everybody needs to go on there and order one of the Sheridan jerseys. Way more than the Mendal jerseys.
It's a horrible idea.
Bro, you have like a whole, like your variants of jerseys takes up a whole row. So it's pretty impressive.
I'm special.
Well, you are.
Special ed.
Eric,
so me and Amy are ordering jerseys here real soon. So we've already been eyeing them out. I know which one she wants to order. I know which one I want to order, and we'll be getting them real soon because live shows are coming up here eventually.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yes, sir.
So we get our football on.
It's become something of a priority for me this week is to lock something down so that we have a live event to look forward to. So stay tuned to the Sports Reel Podcast Facebook page, as well as the PFC Entertainment Network page or pfcnetwork.net, the official website of this network. With that, we appreciate everybody who tuned in here tonight and who tunes in to the RSS feed when this drops. Theoretically, at midnight, if I can get this to turn around, fast enough. But
shit, last week you had that shit out in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I did. Everything uploaded like fucking perfectly. I could not believe it. So I'm hoping as I'm getting ready for work, it will follow suit. So we'll see. Fingers crossed, as it were. With that, go out this week. Be awesome to yourselves and to each other, and we'll see you next Tuesday here on the Sports Reel Podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network.
Go Tigers, go Lions, go Scotty, and like and share the Sports Reel page. Like and share it.
You caught yourself. You're going to say some other stuff. You caught yourself.
I've been drinking. Go Scotty.
Like the damn page. Help us out.
Championship. Like the page.
Damn it.
Damn it. Help us out.